Well, I still sound like I have COVID.
You need to start drinking some eggnog. It's back on the shelves.
Yeah, that'll help the phlegminess, you moron.
It's working for me.
That shit makes you phlegmy like the best of times.
It's so good, though.
Also, wait, you're drinking eggnog? Was it like 2 weeks or 3 weeks ago? I was sitting there listening to you talk about you're like, oh yeah, I'm really watching what I eat. And I'm like being all like health conscious and stuff like that. And you're slugging eggnog by the carton now.
It's my replacement for protein shake.
Everything's, yeah, I don't think that's how that works, but hello and welcome to the Movie Men podcast. I am Brady. That's Carl. Say hi, Carl.
Hello. Do you have news for me, Brady?
I do. It's our weekly movie news show. This is probably the last time I'm going to introduce it, to its full extent. But basically what we've done is we've taken the news segment from the end of the episodes that Pete and I do and have turned them into its own full-fledged weekly episode. That way we can talk about a little bit more than we used to, and we can go into a little bit more detail. Carl, are you ready?
How many you got for me today?
I have 9, so we gotta go.
9?
Yeah, 9.
9.
I don't know, is that offensive? Yeah.
9, I must go. It's just a
9.
Nine
Nine less than, 1 less than 10. Okay, so listen. There's a movie coming out called Black Adam. Have you heard of it?
Yeah. Dwayne Johnson has gotten more jacked than ever before for it, apparently.
Is now the time for me to drop this? Do you want to know something? Do you want to know a story about a personal and depressing connection that I have to the Black Adam movie now, or when we do our Black Adam review?
Did you try out for the part of Black Adam and they turned you down?
Just answer the question. Do you want to know now or when we do our Black Adam review?
I feel like you should save it for the Black Adam.
Okay, I'll say, yeah, you're right. Okay, I'll save it. So for a while now, it has been ever on our minds of, okay, is Henry Cavill actually done as Superman? Yes or no? Is Henry Cavill coming back as Superman? Are we ever going to get another Superman? Are we going to get a Man of Steel 2? What the hell is going on with Superman? Now, The Rock, who was originally cast as Black Adam in 2007.
It's a long time ago.
It's so freaking long ago. 15 years.
As far as movies go, that's a long time ago.
Yeah. Pretty much this whole time he's been talking about Superman, specifically Henry Cavill, and really sort of bolstering the idea that he wants to go head to head with Superman. Well, as tends to happen, the post-credit scene for some fan that someone filmed during some fan screenings of the movie has leaked online. I don't recommend going and watching it, not because of spoilers, because we're about to spoil it for you, but mostly just because that's not the way to see. That's not the way to see it. It's not the way to watch a trailer.
How do you even get a cell phone into one of those things?
I don't know. Or those Ray-Bans has those oh, look at me, I'm filming you now glasses.
It's wearing tech glasses. Yeah.
Yeah. What do you mean Google Lens or whatever?
These are my reading glasses.
These are my reading VR glasses. Yeah. Anyways, it is official. It's been confirmed due to a leak that Henry Cavill is going to appear simply in a post-credit scene, but still appearing nonetheless, confirming that yes, Henry Cavill is still Superman in the DCEU and will likely be moving forward. Otherwise, this post-credit scene would not make any sense. But he is going to appear in a post-credit scene of Black Adam. Now, Carl, what say you? At the end of Shazam, we sort of got a Superman cameo in the cafeteria, but it wasn't necessarily Henry Cavill. It was just a wonderful, beautiful specimen of a man shot sort of from the neck down.
Yeah. Couldn't tell who the actor was.
But it seems official that not only is Henry Cavill going to be our Superman for at least some time longer, but that he is going to be in the post-credit scene of Black Adam. What are your thoughts on this?
I am for it. Long live the nerd king, Henry Cavill. Give me more. He's great.
Henry Cavill's fantastic.
He's so good.
He's so good. He is, listen, and this is going to be unpopular. It's going to be unpopular. Henry Cavill is the best on-screen Superman we've had.
Oh, yeah. I'll give you that. No problem.
You know, like George Reeves, or not George Reeves, Christopher Reeves. George Reeves was the old one. Christopher Reeves, iconic, legendary, fantastic. But Henry Cavill just like, he knows the character. He gets it. He gets Kal-El and his struggles.
I think the writing, and this is not anything Henry could have really done about it. I think the writing for the first half of the first Superman film he did was a little weak. At like wandering the earth, trying to figure out who he is. I thought that was a little BS. The character of Superman, Henry made it work. It was, at the end of the day, it was a pretty good Superman film. Superman films are hard to do by any stretch of the imagination, just because Superman's nigh invulnerable except for less than a handful of weaknesses.
Yeah, magic. So
it's hard. It's hard to take someone that's so powerful and tell a story that makes him have to have character growth. So if you got to shoehorn that in with some emotional stuff, trying to figure out what he is at the beginning, that's cool. Whatever. Yeah, I can live with it.
So moving on, but staying in the category of Black Adam and of Superman, like you said, Superman movies can be tricky because you need to find a worthy adversary for Superman.
True.
Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson has guaranteed us a future movie in which Black Adam will face off against Superman.
That would be fun.
So,
one of Superman's little-known weaknesses is magic. Black Adam
is magic.
Now,
here's a question, though. At what point, if he's already teasing it now and they're talking about it now, then it would imply that the next... So if this is happening in the next Superman movie, if they're going to make a Superman Man of Steel 2, right? And Black Adam will be the villain of that, that is quite possible. If we're talking Black Adam 2, then this seems like a weird thing to be teasing right now, for me anyways, because at what point are we going to get Black Adam against Shazam? This has to happen at some point. Essentially, otherwise, what you've done is you've created a universe where you said, okay, here's Batman. Now we're going to give you the Joker in a standalone film that doesn't have Batman in it, but is in the same universe. And, you know, Batman's not going to be in this first one because we just kind of want to introduce the character. And then Joker, the second Joker film comes along and they're like, we're thinking it might be interesting to see what he's like up against Green Lantern there, eh? And everyone's going, okay, right, but at what point does he meet Batman?
They're not using him in Fury as Shazam 2. Shazam 2 he's going up against the gods who give him his power.
Exactly.
Or at least that's the assumption from what I've seen.
So now we have
weird
2 Shazam movies and at least one Black Adam movie where Shazam and Black Adam are not facing off against each other. So does this add any weight to the idea to you that this could be Black Adam showing up as the antagonist of a Man of Steel movie rather than Superman being a mainstay character in a Black Adam 2 movie?
Yeah. So, story-wise, like if you're going to do this kind of the quote-unquote artistic way, Shazam should have his own show. Superman should have his own show or movie. Shazam, so should Superman. Black Adam. In the comics, sense. Black Adam's a weird character. He's kind of like Doctor Doom in the Marvel universe. He is a villain like 80-90% of the time, but the rest of the time he's just protecting his country.
Yeah,
he's got his he only cares about his little bubble of the world, and everything else can go to hell.
Yeah, he's got a little bit of like anti-villain going on.
So he does him getting one standalone movie
makes sense. Let's introduce the guy. I
can buy that.
Yeah,
especially when you've got The Rock casting him. You got to give The Rock title credit, lead star.
Got to make the money
for at least one film. A second Black Adam film doesn't make sense to me. And maybe that's just me not knowing the DC world as well as I know Marvel, and for that matter, Black Adam as a character as well as, say, Batman or Superman.
Yeah, I'm not super well versed in the Black Adam.
But I know, and I feel like I know enough to say more than one Black Adam film doesn't make sense, and for him
like
to
too
more,
much.
Yeah, kind of like the Hulk in the MCU. Like, okay, we've got a Hulk movie. Now this is different. Hulk should have more movies.
Yeah,
but that's more of a who owns the rights to make the movies problem than a character problem.
Yeah.
In this case, though, this is a character issue where I don't think the character needs more than one standalone movie. And from here out, from first movie, standalone movie out, he can just be a primary antagonist or a show up and cause chaos just for a little bit. Like, show up in later films one way or another from other characters.
Then it gets even because I agree. But then it feels like it gets even stickier because now you're talking about, okay, we know that at some point Black Adam has to face off against Shazam. He has to. But we also know that Black Adam is going to face off against Superman. So could Black Adam be the main antagonist in both Man of Steel 2 and Shazam 3?
Here's what you do.
That seems weird.
Here's what the DCU has needed to do from day one. They need to fire all their writers. First off, get rid of them. Then they need to hire all the writers from the DC animated series and movies that have been coming out for the last 20 years.
Oh, no, I disagree.
Those things are so good.
Yeah, but writing for an animated film versus writing for, it's...
I don't know, man. You're telling me, did you see, I can't remember what they called it, but Shazam was in, they made an animated with Shazam and Superman, and Black Adam was the primary antagonist. And I tell you what, it was only like a 30-40 minute flick, but it was amazing.
No, I haven't seen it.
It was so good. And all of the animated stuff has been top tier.
So maybe you're right. But either way, I think what we can both agree on is that it's just exciting to know that these films are coming. And whatever form, shape they take, these are going to be awesome face-offs. A lot of cities are going to get destroyed. I don't know, unless we take this thing out to the desert at this point, it's there's mass destruction in the future.
Yeah, that'll be good.
So moving on, Rings of Power has finally finished. And I say finally very sarcastically because I wish it was still happening. I wish it was still happening so bad.
Should we put a caveat in here? Because you and Pete still haven't reviewed the last episode, right?
Yeah.
Well, even if you haven't heard that episode, you might end up hearing
maybe I hate it.
Spoilers.
Yeah, maybe I hate it.
You won't maybe go back and
no.
listen to that
We're not
episode
gonna.
first.
No, we won't. No, we won't spoil anything here. We're not going to spoil anything.
I might.
Don't do it. Don't do it. No,
All
because
right,
it's irrelevant to the topic.
Okay.
Here's the deal. Rings of Power season 2 is shooting right now.
Is it?
It is. Yeah, it started shooting like 2 weeks ago.
How's it shooting now? I heard it's going to be like not coming out for 2 or 3 years.
It's not going to. Like, can I tell the news? Shut up. Sit down and shut up.
These are the rumors that I've heard.
So, Rings of Power Season 2 is shooting right now, but with how long it takes to edit these things and do all the visual effects and stuff like that on them, and just how long it takes to shoot them in general. This is basically, if Season 2 is anything like Season 1, it's essentially an 8.5, 9-hour movie, right? Mm-hmm. It's going to be like 2 years at least before we get season 2. This is not only disappointing for me as a fan of season 1, this is potentially the biggest display of a lack of planning. I was listening to someone else talk about this, and they said something that I think hits the money right on the head. That's not a saying, but you get it. You know what I mean. This is a screw up. Not only is this a monumentally disappointing screw up, the fact that they did not shoot season 1 and 2 together, because they knew they were going to do, no matter what, they were going to do a season 2. With the amount of money that was sunk into the first season, with how the season was ending, the fact that the show has already been slated for 5 seasons, they knew that no matter what, even if they don't end up doing all 5, with the amount of money they put into season 1, they knew no matter what, that they were going to do a season 2. Not shooting season 1 and 2 back to back or congruently together is a mistake that somebody should be fired over. This is such a monumental, boneheaded screw up, because it's one thing if your show is receiving nothing but amazingly positive reviews. And then, you know what? 2 years of waiting is still going to hurt some of its momentum. It's still going to hurt some of its hype. But ultimately, it's a show that, everyone loves. So no big deal. Rings of Power hasn't been that. Rings of Power has been pretty split down the center, right? A lot of people love it. A lot of people have been hating on it pretty hard. 2 years now? This could be series cancer.
I think maybe they've gone back to the drawing board and are trying to rewrite it to make it a little more true to the Tolkien's writings.
Well, legally, in a lot of ways, they can't. But
okay, hang on.
Hang on. But here's the issue. No. But here's the issue with what you're saying is either way. The only way you're saying that maybe they're doing that as a result of the critical response that they're getting from season 1, right?
Yes.
Which still means that when they shot season 1 a year and a half ago, they didn't shoot season 2. That was still a decision. That was still an omission. There was still a decision that somebody said, no, let's just shoot season 1. Let's edit it all. Let's get it halfway out. And then, then we'll call some people back and we'll start rolling cameras again. Because we know this process takes like 2 years to do. So then we'll have something out by like 2024 for them. What?
Yeah. But if they're going back to the drawing board, even if they had done that, then they've got to do a bunch of reshoots.
Wow, you have to reshoot like
you've tossed out that a lot about like They don't have the rights. They don't have the rights. Okay, they don't have the rights, but they're still calling it Lord of the Rings. They're still using almost all the names and places.
Yeah, because they have the rights to those. Because those are names and places that appear in the appendices of the Lord of the Rings.
All that being said, there's no reason that they couldn't keep the timeline of how things worked in the books similar.
Yeah, but see, it's tricky because, like, here's the thing. A lot of the people who have been arguing that they're making too much up and they're inventing too much for this show are people who are unfamiliar with the books. Because the Second Age of Middle-earth, there's not compared to the Third Age of Middle-earth, the Second Age of Middle-earth is essentially like footnotes and the odd timeline. There isn't invention was always going to be a major part of this show because there's just not enough. Tolkien just did not write enough about the Second Age in order to make a show out of. He just didn't.
True. So we're going down a rabbit hole here. I'm not as versed in Tolkien as you, but since I started watching this show, I've been watching a lot of sort of breakdowns on the videos on Silmarillion and Tolkien lore and videos about this is everywhere Gandalf traveled in the writings that we know of, and everywhere that Galadriel traveled that we know of, and everywhere Sauron went, and all this stuff.
Yeah.
And
careful,
so
don't spoil
from
the show.
What I've learned, and I won't, there's enough there that you could still stay to the canon. There's no reason Galadriel ever should have went you've crowned her the main character of your show essentially.
Yeah.
But she didn't need to be.
No, but why not have her be?
Well, to stay true to the books.
Which books?
Tolkien's books.
Which of Tolkien's books?
I don't know. The lore of Lord of the Rings, the written lore.
Right. So, but again, if we're referring to stuff from the Silmarillion, they don't have the rights to those stories.
But they could still stay. I don't know. I feel like
it's tricky.
They've done enough of it that they might as well go full bore.
But legally they can't. It's not
legally all they've done essentially is bought the rights to names and names. That's pretty much it, is what you're telling me.
As long as they
in which case, why even bother making it?
Because it's
just why not just write this story, call it something else, and let it be this other fantastic. So let me
brand recognition, hands down.
Yes.
If House of Dragon comes out tomorrow and it's not a Game of Thrones series, it's still successful, but not to the extent that it has been. It doesn't draw the numbers that it does because it's a Game of Thrones prequel.
As a show, I think the Lord of the Rings, Power of the Ring is awesome. The more that I've dove into
I can now
Lord
continue
of the Ring,
to let you live.
The more I dive into the Lord of the Rings lore, through the less I like it as a Lord of the Rings show. It is a great fantasy epic story. It is a horrible Lord of the Rings story.
Yeah, I mean, I disagree. And it's essentially, and this isn't what we're talking about, but it all comes down to interpretation. It all comes down to your understanding of creative interpretations and different people telling their version of different stories. Here's the thing: if you were to sit down and be extremely well versed in Lord of the Rings, the books, and the Silmarillion and the Hobbit, the Lord of the Rings movies are masterpieces, but in many ways they're not great Lord of the Rings movies. There's a lot of things that you could sit, had you read Lord of the Rings all the way through, there's a lot of things you could sit right now and say, why didn't you stick to the lore? Right? And it's not just a matter of like, oh, people like, wow, Tom Bombadil didn't show up. No, like they flat out change things. They move things around that they put stuff from this that's supposed to be in the second book and the third movie, and they take lines from a character and give them to other characters, and take this dream from this person and give it to them, and they have elves show up to fight alongside in Helm's Deep. There were no elves in Helm's Deep, right? So it's like there's so many changes, right? And so part of my, like, I saw the Lord of the Rings movies before I ever was old enough or really had the opportunity to read Lord of the Rings, the books. The opposite is true for The Hobbit. I had read The Hobbit at least 4 times before seeing, like, The Hobbit book formed my imagination as a child. And as such, so like currently right now, Brianne and I are sitting and we're rewatching, we're doing like a Middle Earth kind of work through, right? And we're starting with the Hobbit films. We're going to end with the Rings of Power show, just because if you're not well versed in, like, the Rings of Power show will just make more sense if you watch the films first. But
yeah, I alluded to this in one of our Andor episodes. They steal so much dialogue from the trilogy as kind of a ooh, hey, he said that bait that that it helps.
Yeah, so here's the
bad
thing.
Writing, but
so here's the thing. Brianne has not read The Hobbit. She's read the first 4 pages of it.
Okay. She's
not read The Hobbit. And I'm looking over at her throughout watching the Hobbit movies, and she's rather enjoying them, right? Mm-hmm. She's like, oh, this is, okay, and that's fun. And oh, this is like, that's humorous. And okay, there's a love story going on there, and blah, blah, blah. And so she looks at it, having not read The Hobbit, going, yeah, these are fun fantasy, adventure, action, treasure hunting films. And I agree. I've read the book several times, and I think they're horrible Hobbit movies. Horrible Hobbit movies. Because
cinematically, it's bad writing too.
They jump all over the place as far as like adding stuff and changing the lore and doing all this stuff. Now, the Lord of the Rings films aren't as guilty of it, but they're still quite guilty of it. And so, anyways, we digress. We're off topic. Yeah, Either way, let's get back if you knew, would you agree, if you knew for a fact that you were going to make a season 2, and you knew that waiting until you're halfway through season 1 would require a 2-year gap between season 1 and 2, is not shooting the first 2 seasons back to back, not only cheaper because you have everyone there and production is already rolling, but B, just smarter all around, instead of leaving this now ludicrous 2-year gap?
Well, I think, and this is something that streaming services have kind of gotten in the habit of doing, in that in the past, a serial TV show, they just keep shooting year round. They might take a couple months break, and the show will have a couple months break and then come back on in a couple months. Now they shoot them like a movie, and then it takes it like Stranger Things. There's like a 1-year gap between every season that has come out. So yeah, like if I'm head honcho at a studio and they're pitching me Lord of the Rings, Rings of Power, I'm looking at, okay, Peter Jackson's films, man, he he had to film a couple of these back to back.
He filmed all three back to back.
Yeah.
Over 14 months.
So let's kind of scrap the mentality of what the streaming services are doing for shows, and let's kind of go back to the old way and just shoot this like year round. We'll give the cast a couple months off in the summer.
Yeah, and then
we'll come back in the fall, and we'll keep shooting
instead of waiting a year and a half.
Keep shooting, and then then maybe you've only got 6 months between your seasons. Now, is your quality of everything going to go down having to do that?
It shouldn't.
I don't know. Yeah,
it shouldn't. But yeah. No, I don't know.
No, I think it's a bit crazy.
Yeah. Moving on. What was my next topic here? Kevin Smith, friend of yours and mine.
Yeah, great director.
Go way back with Kevin Smith. Kind of like the comic book. If you don't know who Kevin Smith is, then I don't know how to help you. I
feel sad for you.
Kevin Smith has gone on record saying, as a director, he will not. Not that these films are being offered to Kevin Smith by any means, but as a director, he says he would not go anywhere near Star Wars or the MCU because of how toxic the fandom is. And this is not the first time we've heard something like this. Like it is well known at this point, and anybody who doesn't think this at this point is simply just in denial. There may be no fandom that is as toxic as Star Wars fandom. Just a bunch of whether it be racism that we saw with the Obi-Wan series, or just nasty, unfortunately, fandom in general is becoming something that is less exciting to be a part of because there's a bunch of asshats out there that are just ruining it for everyone else, right? Rings of Power being one of the newest examples, right? Maybe you love the show, maybe you don't. Let's have a fun discussion about it. Hopping on the internet and saying, the writers are trash. Not that their work is trash, but the writers themselves are trash and they should all be ashamed and they're lazy, incompetent. What is your issue? You're a Lord of the Rings fan? Grow up.
Well, so
Star Wars and the MCU, unfortunately, in many ways are the same thing. If people don't get, people get so passionate about something that if something comes out and it's not exactly what they were hoping for, they lose their shit and they turn into savages with the anonymity of the internet.
Yeah, and I don't think fandoms in general have people in them that are at the high end fandom, they collect everything, they do it, see everything, you know what I mean? I don't know if I'm quite there yet. If I wouldn't consider my fanatical fan. That's the word I was looking for. A little fanatical. They're super deep in.
Yeah.
And I don't want. I'm not defending the people that go after the actors or directors as individuals. Like you were saying, criticize the writing, but not the person. That's childish. It's not constructive. It's not helpful. But those people, they've spent a lot of time and money, and they've invested in their life. They've invested into enjoying a piece of art. And then, so I think there is I think those groups are small and vocal minorities who, like you said, have the defense of anonymity via the internet. So I don't think it's as bad as Hollywood portrays it, but I think Hollywood stokes the fires.
Oh, I don't know. You take the casting of you name it. You take the casting of Heath Ledger as Joker. people lost their shit.
Yeah.
Michael Keaton, the casting of Michael Keaton as Batman broke the internet before there was the internet.
Yeah. But this is just like passionate people having an opinion.
Yeah, but
I don't think anybody attacked Heath Ledger as an actor. I think they just disapproved of the choice of him, thinking that there are better options.
Well, I mean, sure, but
I think that's just
Robert
an opinion.
Pattinson.
I think there's a difference between like that and saying, "Oh, there can't be black elves,"
right?
Or like departing from MCU and Star Wars and Lord of the Rings, like The Little Mermaid,
right?
That being upset, like, I don't know, she sounds good as Little Mermaid. The looks good. I'm good with it. Whatever.
Okay, but at the end of the day, a casting like Robert Pattinson as Batman, I think you'd be hard pressed to argue that more people that there were huge numbers of people who were outraged, talking about boycotting the film, talking about blah blah blah. And yeah, those are those people who are allowed to have their own opinions and blah blah blah. But at the end of the day, anything like that, right? Anything where you are creating a piece of art for a property and you make even a simple casting announcement causes that kind of negativity on the internet, that is toxic. That's garbage. And that wouldn't be something as a director that would be very fun or exciting. Why would you want to take that on? Why would you want to do something fun and new in the MCU or in the Star Wars universe if you know that there's a large number of people out there that if they don't get exactly what they want, you know, their silly little fan casting that they've had in the back of their head for 5 years now, then they're going to turn into losers on the internet and they're going to talk shit about your film without even giving it a chance. Anyways, do you think you know,
we can get down a political rabbit hole here that I don't think we need to get down.
Yeah, no, like, so at the end of the day, like, you know, Kevin Smith said he wouldn't touch either of these with a 10-foot pole. Like I said, I'm not sure. Like, Kevin Smith is fantastic. I'm not sure Lucasfilm or Marvel was about to
Pursuing
offer him. Yeah. Knowing the type of director he is and stuff like that. We don't need Chewbacca, you know, with a doobie in his hand. But
Kevin Smith helped write a run of comics back in, I think it was in the 90s, on Batman. And it's a highly accepted and beloved series. He's directed several animated shows in some DC animated shows. When it comes to comics and Star Wars, I think he usually gets it right like 80-90% of the time, which is pretty damn good considering how much a lot of stuff, how hard it is to adapt written work into visual art. I think he could do it. I think he would get, you know, no matter what you do nowadays, there's going to be people who don't like it.
Yeah.
Whether it's the casting or whether it's because you wrote the story wrong. Like we were just talking, they had that big rant about Lord of the Rings and them not sticking to or sticking to continuity of the written work, right? So no matter what you do, you're not going to make everybody happy.
No. But it's the people who aren't happy that
the people making the work, the people making the work need to get their heads out of Twitter, out of Facebook, out of their own butts, and just make the work and put it out there and let people think and say whatever they want. The more you interact with that, whether it's negativity, the more you just fuel that fire.
No, but like but some of that you can't escape. Like at the end of the day, some of that, you don't even have to go looking for that. Most of the people knew that there was a new Robert Pattinson Batman movie coming because of the internet memes, because of the hate. And, so the last thing I want to say about this is like, I think Kevin just in general has this like, let's just be fans of things and enjoy things kind of mentality. Like he has a YouTube channel. So. He sometimes does reviews, and one of the things he said was recently, something I watched him say, and I thought, oh yeah, this is genius. Was he's like, yeah, people are gonna say, oh, Kevin Smith likes everything, right? He gets on here, and every time he talks about something he likes, and he's like, no, he says, I don't like everything. There's lots of movies and stuff out there that I don't like. You just don't hear me talk about it. This is the stuff that I like, I'm going to talk about a lot because I love that stuff, right? I'm going to talk about it. He says, I don't like everything. The stuff I don't like, you're not going to hear me talk about it, right? And that's it. If you don't like it, move on. This is a whole toxic... Anyways, so I found that interesting. Unfortunate, there may be a lot of truth in that. There may be a lot of truth in, and I wonder how many other high-profile directors and actors and whatever out there are looking at some of these franchises saying, no way. I'm not touching that. I'm not going near that. Are you kidding me? That kind of pressure, that kind of like, they'll crucify you if you do it wrong. Right? Anyways. So, moving on. Tom Cruise. A man that I've had a love-hate relationship with on this podcast is set to be the first ever civilian to do a spacewalk while shooting a film.
Yeah, this is interesting, I guess.
Yeah, I assume it's for... I didn't read this part, but I assume it's for a Mission Impossible film. It's got to be.
I don't know. But he like a lot of, I hear that, and that's pretty cool, I guess. I'm not a big fan of Tom Cruise.
No,
but I think it's more impressive that like, is he going up there alone?
No,
with a camera?
No,
or are they sending a crew up with him? I think it's more.
You have to.
I forget Tom Cruise in this story. Tom Cruise isn't what's important. They're taking a crew up to space to shoot some scenes for a movie.
Well, and there'll be a lot
Forget
of like
Tom Cruise. He's not the important part of this story. The actor is inconsequential.
There will be a lot of like actual NASA staff and stuff as well.
Yeah, so I think that's the cooler part of this is that
they got to
be sending more than one person up there to shoot these scenes.
Yeah, the only thing about this that actually surprises me is that it's Tom Cruise going up and not James Cameron. I thought like, who would have thought that Tom Cruise would beat James Cameron into space? But there you go. He somehow managed to do it. So the MCU has seen major release date shifts following the halt in production on Blade.
This seems to be COVID kind of started this, but it just seems to be an ongoing trend though.
Well, specifically, no, because specifically the Blade situation is the changing in directors and nobody can get a script figured out and put together and blah, blah, blah.
Mahershala
and so
Ali not being happy.
Well, as a result of the things I just mentioned. Yeah. And so it's been bumped back a year. And several films have had to shuffle, some of them 3 months, some of them 6 months, some of them 8 months, as a result. Now, is this, the only thing I want to ask you, is this a flaw in a shared universe? That if one domino falls, because each film is setting up something else and it's important, and so a lot of these films you can't have out of the order that they were intended to be released, because then all of a sudden you're not setting things up the way that the grand plan has it anymore. And so once one domino falls, the rest follow pretty quickly. Is this a major flaw of the shared cinematic universe model?
Oh, it definitely seems to be that way. Like, I think Since we're in phase 4 now, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. So with the kickoff of phase 4, kicked off with Spider-Man, and then we got WandaVision. But like Spider-Man was the kickoff, but WandaVision was never supposed to be the next iteration in phase 4. COVID threw a huge wrench in the plan, and everything got shuffled around, and now we've got the universe we have now.
Mm-hmm.
In the films and shows in the order we have them. Like, yeah, you've got this grand plan, all your ducks in a row, and now all of a sudden you got to reorder your ducks, which means you got to reorder your story, which means
everything.
You get everything's shifting. Like, it's no wonder it feels like the MCU's a mess right now. Because it is.
You always come back to that.
Like it we're getting some good stuff. We're getting some decent stuff.
I have a lot of
getting
faith.
some not
I have a lot of faith
stuff.
in the MCU and the story that they're putting together. And I
hope
I can't
so,
see the
because right
picture
now it
yet.
just feels like Kevin Feige's sitting on a couch and he's got a wall full of ideas and he's just throwing darts from 20 feet back.
Oh no. This man's
like
no.
I know he's got a grand scheme in mind and a story that will knock our socks off, hopefully. But it just, like, right now, in the middle of, like, it's hard. This is kind of like it's hard to see the whole trail or the whole plan when you're right in the middle of it.
Yeah.
When you're not the designer of the plan, you can't, what's that saying? It's hard to see the forest through the trees.
Yep.
Right? Like, that's what it feels like right now. We're in the middle of this mess. And it feels like, to me, it feels like this mess. They're just all these different threads being thrown out there.
Yep.
Either this grand tapestry of a spider web is being woven together, or the spider's on acid.
Yeah. I'm fine with either, honestly.
Yeah. So like as long as every other one is a really good movie and show, and the bad ones are still watchable, I'll be all right.
Yeah. So moving on, Brendan Fraser is Hollywood hotness right now. We're kind of having a Brendan Fraser renaissance, a
resurgence,
renaissance.
Yeah. I'm
I'm so excited for that. Brendan Fraser's fantastic. So he's so talented, and he deserves it. He deserves to not only be making movies again, but have his fame back. Speaking of sort of our mutual so mehness on Tom Cruise, the Tom Cruise Mummy film is
bad.
It's really bad.
Yep.
Like really, really, really bad.
Yeah.
And Brendan Fraser recently, in an interview, said that he would be willing, if the conceit was right, he would be willing to come back and do another Mummy movie. Now, I've said this, lots of people on the internet say this, it's good advice, and I've said it on the show many times, and I'm actually I'm quoting another film pundit in saying this. Actor says he is willing to work. Newsflash. Water wet. Like, okay. You got to be like, anytime someone says, you hear actors all the time and they're like, oh yeah, I'd love to do an MCU thing. And you're like, oh, did you hear that? So-and-so said they'd love to be in the MCU. Oh yeah. Okay. So-and-so said they'd love to be in the largest money-making franchise of all time. Yeah. Sure.
Write me a blank check for several movies.
Yeah, of course they would. So, I mean, Brendan Fraser getting back into things, he just had his Batgirl movie canceled. Unfortunately, it's not Brendan Fraser's fault, I don't think.
He was going to be in Batgirl?
There was. Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah, we'll talk more about that sometime. But that's gone now. And so here's the thing. You have to take it with a grain of salt because he is just sort of getting his career back under his feet. And
Talk show host asks him a question and he answers, I'd love to do that.
It's a big franchise and blah, blah, blah. My question for you, Carl, Do you want to see Brendan Fraser back in another Mummy film?
Hell yes. Leave Tom Cruise out of it.
Yeah. Oh, man. Brendan Fraser back. I think what excites me about this is two things. One is the first two. The third one was okay.
He wasn't in the. Was he in the third one?
Yeah, he's in the third one.
Okay, I've never seen the third one.
Anyways, either way, the Brendan Fraser Mummy movies are fantastic.
Yeah.
And what I think I like not the most about it, but would also be fantastic news about this is it would likely be a healthy. It would require Brendan Fraser more than likely to get back into pretty good shape.
Yeah.
And and this is not like, I'm not like body shaming or fat shaming Brendan Fraser at all. But obviously, getting into the shape that he would need to get into for something like a Mummy movie would be overall a healthy body choice for him. And that would just be exciting to see as well, to see one more step back towards the Brendan Fraser that we know and love from years gone by, and one more step to having him back as George of the Jungle again, right? I mean, if you're gonna get the muscles back, you might as well don the loincloth as well. Sure. 2 weeks ago, you and I talked about the possibility that Harrison Ford might get cast to be replacing Thunderbolt Ross in the MCU. It's now been confirmed, man. It's happening.
Han Solo Ross, eh?
Harrison Ford is Thaddeus Thunderbolt freaking Ross.
All right.
I'm excited.
Sure.
Like, what, it's, sure. You never, ever, there's a rule with movies, which is it's never a bad idea to add talent to your film. Not necessarily name recognition. Talent. People who are talented.
Yeah.
And I don't have the time of day for anyone who is going to sit and argue that Harrison Ford is not talented. He's a fantastic actor.
Mm-hmm.
So this is a win. I mean, you have an old crotchety talented man playing an old crotchety character. He's old, but I don't think Thunderbolt Ross is going to be, especially in like a Thunderbolts movie, it's not a physically demanding role.
No.
Right? He's not doing a lot of the action.
I guess it depends on how they do the Hulk side of it.
Wow, they're not going to, like what? They're not going to.
Is he going to do the CGI or the I guess.
Performance capture? I doubt it.
Performance capture stuff for it. Well,
they're going to paint him up like Lou Ferrigno
stuff. The facial stuff they can do.
Yeah, but whatever. That's not physically demanding.
The body part they could have somebody else do.
So what? Yeah.
Yeah.
So what? Anyways, I'm excited for this. I think it's...
based on what you said there about like higher quality acting and not name recognition, but back to last week, you should hire the original voice actor from Mario.
Oh, get out of here. All right, moving on to our final topic, a topic that I'm expecting you to be quite excited for, because this is kind of your stupid style of humor and your era of films. There was a fantastic comedy film series back in the day starring... You know his name?
I know what you're talking about, what we're talking about. I can't remember his name.
Leslie Nielsen. Yeah. Called The Naked Gun movies.
Yeah. More than The Naked Gun. He did all kinds of...
Oh, he did. He was like everything back in the day.
Yeah.
Yeah, the narrator of Katie and Orby. That's probably his most iconic role. But, so we have a Naked Gun reboot coming with Liam Neeson. What say you?
What say me? I don't know. So, one of the reasons Leslie Nielsen was so good in those roles, Naked Gun, Airplane, all those comedies that he did,
Scary Movie,
his deadpan delivery of all the comedy lines.
Yep.
Like everything was just deadpan, super serious. And that came from him being a very serious, classically trained actor. So that's how he always delivered those lines and how he always acted those parts as a very serious role. And that worked so well. His timing was impeccable as well. Liam Neeson, I don't know.
Liam Neeson, yeah.
Yeah, like, I've seen him do some comedy stuff, and he's not
funny.
bad.
Oh, I think he's funny.
He's kind of get that. I think he could get the deadpan down. I don't know.
I think it'll be good. I'm excited for this.
I would. I'd have to reserve judgment till I seen it. I think I like Liam Neeson. I think he's a great actor. Could he pull off that role? I don't know.
I mean, and again, it's a reboot, right? It's not a recasting. So if they take it in a slightly different direction and they put their own spin on it, then again, I think that criticizing it because it's not the original just kind of thrusts us back into that category of toxic fandom, right? Where it's like, just come on, then don't watch it. If you don't like it, then go watch the original and be happy with that. And you don't have to be so uptight about this.
I think it's okay. People can have their opinions.
Oh, absolutely.
Whether they like it or not, people can have their opinions. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I don't think you should be attacking the actor or the writers, but saying I don't think he's right for the role and the movie doesn't work because of it. I think there's nothing wrong with that.
No, but I would say I think I speak for everyone when I say that nobody, if you don't like a movie or a TV show or whatever, and you go to hop on the internet and share your opinion, that's fine. But just understand that nobody cares. Nobody cares that you don't like this movie. Nobody gives two shits that you don't like this movie. Nobody cares about your opinion.
Somebody will care, or else we don't get to this point. Like that's like you yourself, like that's why I was saying earlier, actors should get their heads out of their butts and off the internet and looking at this stuff and just do their job. But like you just said, you said nobody cares, but they do. And then they voice an opinion back, and then I mean it just escalates. That's like saying
in 2022. That's like, with all the hate for cops and defund the police and everything that's going on. That's like going up to a cop and saying like, well, you're stupid for letting the fact that everybody hates you bother you. Like just don't listen to that. Don't pay attention. Just be a cop. Like, why do you care? That's just
an argument against your own point.
What do you mean?
You said nobody cares.
Right. No, what I'm saying is like other people, other fans, other people watching it.
But other fans will care. Fans that, if I disagree with the casting of Liam Neeson and I go on the internet and say, I don't think this is a good choice, I think it's wrong, and I think they should either not do the film or they should hire somebody else, somebody out there is going to have the opposite opinion and care enough to rebuttal me.
Yeah, well then, my honest opinion is that you and that other person just have too much free time.
I would agree with you.
All right, everyone. Thank you for listening. Make sure you check out our social links below. Yeah. Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, our Patreon page, our merch page, Carl's LinkedIn profile down below if you want to find out, what he's up to in life.
If you have too much free time, go check out the back catalog of episodes and catch up and enjoy.
And most importantly, reach out to us on Facebook or Instagram and let us know what you think about our opinions on the topics that we talked about today, debated today. It's not really
because we don't care
movie debate show, but no,
we care.
Now that I've said that nobody gives a shit about your opinion. Give us yours.
Your opinion.
Yeah.